I'm going to be talking to you so how I got into riding, powerlifting. So basically, a little backstory of who I am and what I do. As a profession, I'm a photographer, also a photography instructor. Just to go back and discuss the other parts of my life, which is not work related. Let's get into how I got started in motorcycle. But this is going to be my first time to do something of my hobbies, not work. Okay. So while we do this, I'm going to be installing a camera mount. I think this is what brand Moto Wolf that I bought from Lazada. I'll be connecting it to my current motorcycle. Let's get to also the story about how I got this bike. But so I'm going to do my cuento while we install this. No? When I got this, this is not color black. This is steel, even with the bolts are silver. So I painted it last night so that today I can be installing them. And I went with just spray painting them with flat black para mas aesthetically it looks so much better. So growing up, I've always been very fascinated with two wheels. I don't remember any time of my life as early as I think 5 years old that I never owned anything two wheels. I still remember having my very first bike, I think when I was 4 or 5 years old. It was something that had side, those training wheels on the side. Wala siyang free wheel. Remember the really older bikes, no? I'm not saying I'm old, I'm just saying the older bikes na wala siyang free wheel. You really have to constantly pedal because yun din yung preno mo. Pag tinigil mo pag pedal, yun din yung preno mo. Pero ang masakit doon, pag if you're running really fast, and then you put your feet down, may babalik yung pedal sa'yo. So, daming best na ako nasugatan noon when I was young. But I still remember the time where, sabi ko, I see all the other kids without any trainers. So, tinanggal ko yung trainers noon. And I taught myself pretty much how to balance and bike at that young age. How to balance on just two wheels. And ever since then, I have always been into two wheels. Around the mid-80s, I think my dad got into the business of mga buying surplus from Japan. And one of the things na inuwi niya, I still remember, it's that white 50cc Honda scooter. No? So that was my first time to actually have a motorized scooter. So that was the start of me fascinated with anything motorized. Now 50cc. Wala akong lisensya. Siyempre, I was pretty young. I was a young teenager. No, wala pang lisensya. All I can do was take it around the subdivision. No? But that was fun. No? Now, as I got a little bit bigger, my tito, who is actually my neighbor, had a C70, the Honda C70. No? So, minsan pupunta ako sa house niya, hihiramin ko, tatakas ko. No? And one of those weird times na tinakas ko was my first motorcycle accident. No? And the sad part of that accident is before that accident, I was very, very active in the sport of golf. As in, during that summer, I would play golf 5 times a week. And my home course at that time was Fort Bonifacio before it is what is called now BGC. No? So, it had a very nice, challenging golf course. It had a nice driving range. So, doon ako natuto mag-golf and I lived pretty much 5 days a week in Bonifacio. No, I can consider myself I got good. I went down to a handicap of 7, was already competing that summer, and towards the end of that summer is when I snuck out with that C70. No, it was so I took it around the subdivision, ikot-ikot, and then I went to the park, so grassy, and then I saw my cousin. So my cousin called me, Ken. No? So what I did is, I guess I was trying to impress or something. I hit my rear brakes strong. I wanted to do that slide. So what happened? Low-sided. But I forgot to let go of the throttle. When the bike fell, it flipped the handlebar, twisted my wrist, and dislocated it. So I did feel the pain. My first instinct was, shit, ano kaya nangyari sa motor? Hiniram ko lang to. Diba? So I hurried back home, went through the motorcycle, na-bend yung isa sa mga foot peg, so naghanap pa ako ng tubo para ibalik siya. And that night, I still remember we were going to a party, may dinner. But my wrist was swollen already, as in literally namamaga, masakit. So I had to tell my I think it was my mom na sinabihan ko na Mom, I think I injured my wrist. So, okay. We had no choice. They brought me to the ER and tama nga, what I suspected. I fractured my wrist. Not dislocated, but fractured my wrist. But the bad part about fracturing your wrist, if they had to put a cast here, the cast has to be all the way here so that you cannot turn it. They need to immobilize it. And ang isa pang, one of the traumatic experience I had when I was at the hospital when they were trying to fix my wrist. No? So the good thing is they didn't need to open it up. They didn't need to do anything that they need to cut me open. Ang naalala ko lang, sinabi ng doctor is, sige, can I see? Tapos ginaganon niya. Tapos bigla niyang ginanon. Push! Okay na yan. Tapos sabi pa niya sa akin, ang brave mo, hindi ka nagsalita. Parang gusto ko sabihin, hindi mo ako binigyan ng oras para mag-react . But I still remember he just went this, slowly, pulled back, put it back. Tapos sigaw. Okay, pakibalot na yan. The sad part is, there goes my golf career. No? I got frustrated when by the time my wrist healed in 6 months, wala na. My golf game wasn't as good, and I didn't feel like I wanted to start all over again. And at this time, I was already close to graduating from high school. So moved to a different country to study for college. So wala na, nakalimutan na talaga. So, after graduating, I came back to the Philippines. I worked, I got married, but at the back of my head, I think I want a motorcycle. So, around 2000, searching the internet. Internet was still not like internet now. Walang Facebook. I think even Friendster wasn't there yet. So, I got into the forums na Motorcycle Philippines, and a lot of the bikers who are still riding from then to now would remember this site, the Motorcycle Philippines forum. So I met a few people and got really interested with riding a motorcycle. And when I was searching for other classifieds of motorcycle, what really got me interested were classic motorcycles. I like the look of classic. I like the look of standards. I was never into sports because if you're going to look at my picture, which I will be posting my very first bike, how big I was, it was just not practical to be on a sports bike. No? My second choice were cruisers. No, I like how laid back they are, and I like just the way how the V-twins, the cruisers, pretty much sound. So what I ended up getting was a really nice early 80s Honda CB650F. I'll post the picture so you can see it. It was a nice maintained bike. Even the paint job was still original. There's a few rust spots in the fender, but that was easily fixed. But the bike was basically very nice. 2001 was when I think this is the time where the expressway, there was starting to discuss things about letting motorcycles finally allowed inside the expressway. I still remember meeting up with the group, the Freedom Riders, who were pretty much the reason why we are enjoying motorcycles in the expressway now. I met with them, joined some of their runs to campaign to let motorcycles in. No, this was also the time when we started our motorcycle club, which was MIB. No, it's not the Men in Black. It was Mga Independent Bikers. Now, the reason why it was called MIB is back then, if you wanted to join a motorcycle club, usually mga big bike kasi ang may mga motorcycle club. One of the minimum requirement was also 400cc. Remember, the rules was even before the expressway was allowed. They already had that rule. So within the group, within the Motorcycle Philippines, the independent, there was a group called Independent Riders kasi wala silang club affiliation. And in this group, there were people who had nice bikes, but hindi sila 400cc, 250. We even had someone with scooters. A lot actually had scooters. And they felt that they couldn't be part of the group just because of the motorcycle that they have. So, okay. We finally, the irony part is ironic that we are independent, but we formed a club. No? But our rules was very loose, meaning anyone who has a motorcycle can join. I don't even remember if we did charge for juice, but if ever, because when I was a president of that, I didn't really have any funds to use. If kung magpapakain kami, usually it came out of my own pocket. And then whoever the next president, ganun din ang nangyari because I don't really think we had funds. But we did have a racing team. We had a scooter racing team, no? And I think we did pretty good. But, okay. So, that was my first motorcycle, the Honda CB650F. And then together with that, I eventually also got the cruiser, which is a Virago 750. And though it wasn't as fast as the CB650, I had to refill oil. So alam mo na may tulo, no? But it had the sound that I really love. The rumble of the V-twin, ang ganda talaga ng sound. As in, for me, the sound of a V-twin is uncomparable. I eventually got that, and then also to join in the rides with our other smaller displacement, I bought from a fellow member a scooter, the maxi scooter ng SIM at that time, the Joyride 150. I actually bought that for my wife. Pagkuha ko ng scooter na yon, nalaman namin, buntis siya with our second child. So, ayun, parang ginamit niya, tinry niya lang once sa subdivision at never na niya nagamit kasi yun nga, buntis siya. So, fast forward to around 2003, after my work, I was into marketing in a sense. I was working as a marketing manager. My contract was about to end. So, sabi ko, what should I do? Should I renew my contract with work? But what I eventually did was invested in a photo studio and start my profession as a photographer. Remember, I've always loved photography, even when I was in high school. I always loved taking pictures. And it sparked again when I had my first child, my daughter. And digital was starting to emerge. This was 2003, right? So most of the professionals were still on film, but some of the younger guys then were slowly shifting to digital. But it wasn't an widely accepted medium yet. But I found the opportunity na, okay, if I'm going to get in, this was probably the best time to get in because I can invest in digital while others are still not sure if they wanted digital. So what should I do? I didn't have that much fun. So 2003, so many things happening also within our club. Someone got into a major accident and freaked people out to riding motorcycles. So my motorcycle was kept in the garage. So what did we do? I sold all of them. And you'd be surprised. My really good condition was early 80s CB650. At that time, I was having a hard time selling it. I eventually sold it for 68,000. 68,000. But I guess there was no retro craze. Kasi ngayon, that bike, in that condition, I think I can easily get 300,000 if I had the right buyer, because it was a really nice maintained bike. But sabi ko, sige, I'll start my business. By the time I've earned enough, I'll get back into the motorcycle. That was 2003. So 2003, life happened. But in between that, of course, like I said, I always had my bike. Even during the 2010 time, or around 10, 11 years ago, me and my dad even tried to venture into the e-scooters, the electric scooters, the electric bikes. Now, we went to China to check on the probable suppliers. We tried to bring in samples, but the market wasn't really ready. So we tried it. No one was really buying it. Plus the technology of the batteries wasn't as good. So, okay. We brought in a few, we tried to sell it. No, it was just not, there was no traction. People always had that fear of range, na mauubusan ako ng battery. Pag bumiyahe ako doon, di ako makauwi. So there's always that. Bakit ang mahal? Remember, the scooters were 20 to 30,000, where you could actually buy a China-branded motorcycle for that price. And typical of a lot of riders, they associate power with sound. That's why they put yung mga loud pipes, no? And walang tunog ang electric, so they didn't really buy it. They bought the China motorcycles, cheaper, have no fear of mawawalan ka ng kuryente because you can just run to a gas station and pump it up. Okay, so, but I did keep a few of those motorcycles. I used it to go around. It was easy. It was, I didn't really go. I think the farthest I went lang is Makati to around Pasig, Mandaluyong, go around, do my errands, then come back. No, but I didn't really do any long rides with the e-bikes. We also had the pedal-assisted bike. Isa pa yun. Remember, at the time, that was 60,000-70,000 for a pedal-assisted bike. No, this is not the typical at the time ng parang CDR King na bicycle na may throttle. No, this one didn't have a throttle. It had the sensor in your pedal. So when you bike and the pedal moves, there's a cadence sensor that when it's moving, it will engage the motor. No? So, yun. Ganun din. Likewise, we brought in Hirap Ibenta. So, we eventually just gave up on that business that we tried. But looking back now, if we waited just a few years, it could have been a nice business. Ngayon, people are accepting now e-bikes, the pedal-assisted bicycles. uh, people are willing to spend over 100,000 for it. No, but okay, that's just how it is. No, so now fast forward to 2021 on how I got back into riding. No, um, even a year or two before, I've always just toyed with the idea, what if I buy a bike? Check nga kung presyo. Can I afford it? 400cc, 100 plus thousand, meron na ako mabili. The Cafe 400, no? Or what if I get a nice scooter? No? Vespa, few years ago was you can get one for 99,000, 100,000, you can get one. Now medyo mas mataas na, no? Sabi ko, maybe it's time for me to buy one. But for some reason, every time I was planning and saving up for it, there was just something that would happen that would deplete again that savings and all those. But by 2021, no? So by this time, my daughter has already graduated from college, already working, making her own money, so I don't have to worry about her. My son is already also in college. I have the funds already for his college. So now I'm pretty much, I feel more financial freedom. No? But still, I never had the idea na, okay, gusto ko ngayon bumili na ako ng Ducati o gano'n. No. So I was looking at other bikes, no? Somewhere more budget-oriented. So I did look at Suzuki SV650 because remember, like I said, I like the V-twin sound. There was a lot available in the second-hand market. The price was okay. So sabi ko, but Suzuki had the promo for the SV650X, which I really like because of the retro, the cafe racer look, remember? And I went to Suzuki, sat on it, and it's just okay. This looks okay. Just a little bit crouched, but I think I can just add the lift on the clip-ons and I'd be okay. So I put my name on the list, and they had the promo for the SV650X that you can get it as low as $399. So I go, okay, I'll put my name on the list. 1 week has passed, 2 weeks has passed, 3 weeks has passed, not a single call. Okay, so I gave up on that whole Suzuki thing. I also tried to go to Kawasaki. No, maybe I want to try the ZX6R. I think this is the standard version of the Ninja 650. Sat on it, that was good. But when I was searching, my friend who had a Vulcan 650 who uses the same engine, the sound of the engine just doesn't sound right for me. So, okay. I wanted it, but the sound wasn't there. Remember, if I was going to buy a bike, it has to be that whole package, something I like. I like the sound, I like the look. No? And I can't just, magsisisi ako kung ano. Go. And then, one of my friend told me, si ano is selling, I think he's selling his Ducati. Sabi ko, hindi ko kaya, mahal yun. Diba? Tapos sabi, hindi, meron siyang Hyperstrada. Alam mo naman, baka mabibigyan ka naman good price. Huh? I just toyed with that idea. I still remember the message that I sent my friend 2019. Oh, you're selling your Hyperstrada? Oh, if you want. Dali na tayong usap kung magkano, ganyan. That was 2019. No, I still have the messages from that. And so when it was 2021, medyo nagiging seryoso na ako. I'm already decidido na. I couldn't sleep. I was researching about bikes every night. Bago matulog, I would check the classifieds in Facebook kung ano bang good deal. So that a few months ago, I did eventually get to meet and see the Ducati in person. No? So pagtingin pa lang, sabi ko, ganda. It came in one of my favorite color and my wife's favorite color, red. You know? Pero kung bibili ka nga ng Ducati, wag mo na isipin kung anong kulay. Make sure it's red. So I sat on it, and my fear, if it was too tall, wala na. No.
it didn't feel that tall eh. Okay, so I sat on it. It just felt comfortable. Medyo tiptoe, no? But like I said, even when I was riding scooters before, I don't really need to put my 2 feet down. As long as one of my foot is completely flat, I'm good. So nakatiptoe ako if I do both feet, and if I have one of my feet on the brake. So napaisip talaga ako, should I get it or not? No? And we haven't even talked about price yet. I was just I was just looking, admiring, and all my fear of if it was too tall was gone. And then he said, "Start it." When I heard the sound of that V twin come alive, and he already upgraded the pipe, Krapovich, no? So the sound was just ah, parang gusto mo nang sumigaw, sold, but still, sabi ko, no, don't rush it, don't rush it. Go home, think about it, then let's decide. No, and I'm just talking to myself at this time. No, I there's so many things that is stopping me from getting it. No, maybe it's just timing, and so many other things. But uh, so I decided, okay, huwi muna ako. Let me think about it. So even though during that time I was already checking other classifieds, and every time I see something, I go back to the Ducati. Do I compare it? And then my friend did say, kunin mo na, dali na yung presyo, usap na tayo. No? What is comfortable with you? Sige, diba? So, what else should you do? And said, okay, I'll take it. Diba? Parang, the price was too good. No, I won't mention it. This is our gentleman's agreement. No. But I really felt that because we knew each other for quite a while, that he's giving it to me because he wants me to get back into riding. And of course, if he rides, may kasama siya. Diba? So, all those, parang yun yung, I think, the reason. But I'm still very thankful for him for giving me the opportunity to buy this. That's something I wouldn't consider at all. No? Now, when it comes to the concern of cost of maintenance, by the time I got the bike, now one of the very first thing I did was to send it to Ducati in Katipunan. No? Scheduled an appointment, have everything all checked, diba? And they did check things for me. They installed the frame sliders that I did order. And if I'm not mistaken, they just charged me for the install of the frame slider. The checkup was all free. No? So, sabi ko, paano naging mahal to? It wasn't that expensive. Second, when I discussed with them the findings about the recall, I think there was a throttle recall for this particular models, the Hyper Motard and Hyper Strada 821, they replaced the whole throttle for free. Not a single cent did I spend for them to replace it. Not even labor. That was all free. And the people in Ducati Katipunan were really very friendly. No? Biniro ko pa nga eh. Yung slider ba walang discount? Meron. Sige, bigyan kita. Sabi ko, okay. And this was me first time doing that. No? But I was pleasantly surprised na how easy it was to deal with them. So my fear of having problems with cost, difficulty with service, I don't think that's going to be an issue with also Ducati Philippines now having so many other branches. No? They still have, I think, Katipunan, they have Alabang, even Clark, no? Which is in a motorcycle is less than an hour away. And they still have their Pitwason in Cubao. So I have a lot of options. And I think also if I don't want to be going to the official Ducati service, I think there's more and more mechanics that do service Ducati. So not a problem anymore on having service done to your Ducati as compared to maybe 10, 15 years ago. Talagang no choice ka, no? Tapos yung fear of, sabi nila, the Desmo, which will probably happen in around 30,000 kilometers, is going to be expensive. But I'm only at 3,000 now. So that is, by the time I reach 30,000, I think sulit na whatever service I'm going to spend. Unless I buy a bike that is only 25,000, so 5,000 pa lang Desmo na. No? But this one is a really low mileage bike. No? So it's going to be a long time before I go into that Desmo. So walang problema muna yun. Kaya ko pag-ipunan yan. Every week I ride, I put 500 pesos. By the time I think I reach 30,000, I have the funds na to pay for that. So that is basically my history or of how I got into biking again, no? And it's been a joy. I've rode this Ducati to a few rides already. My first ride with my friends to Marilake, no? Yun yung parang first ride ko after finally getting a bike again. That was fun. I've had breakfast in Tagaytay with my wife, and she enjoyed also, I think, the ride. No, I also went to Los Baños because one of my other friend who happened to ride the bike also just decided, okay, talaga ride tayo. Tapos yung pala, may nakalimutan lang siyang papeles sa Los Baños. So we had to ride to Los Baños from Alabang, pick up his paper, and then come back because I had to be home by dinner. And I've been riding just around the city, and it's been really fun. No? So for now, I think this is going to be my little story of how I got my Ducati, how I got into biking, and how I got this bike now. So hopefully you subscribe to my channel. This is pretty new. And then I will share to you more of what I do outside of work. No? So this vlog is going to be more of things of what I love to do. So riding motorcycle, maybe fixing my car, my power lifting experience, because me and my wife are competitive power lifters. So I would love to share with you more about those in this channel. So I hope you can subscribe, like and subscribe. Okay, bye. I'll see you guys soon.